Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
My voice is kind of buttery smooth tonight. You hear that?
No.
Sounds
I was
real
gonna
good.
say MeowMo Jerry, but I was like, no, I'll save that for another day. Now I'm all thrown off with this butterly smooth voice of Steven.
Sorry. And, I don't know. It just sounded weird coming out of my throat. It's coming from deep. I don't know. All right. Well, we're here to talk about Panthers at Lions, heading to Detroit, Week 5. Panthers 0-4, in case you forgot. Heading into a pretty good Detroit Lions
Really
team.
good Detroit Lions team.
So we're going to talk about that. We've got a surprise guest that's going to join us a little later on. We'll talk about that here in a few. We got some news, but first, Jerry met me today at work, and he handed me a box, and he said, hold on to this box until the podcast. So,
Yes.
Jerry, why did I receive this box today?
Because we love you, Steven.
Okay, thank you.
My wife Sylvia saw something on Amazon while looking for something for our daughter and was like, I think you need to get Steven this for a gag gift or just a regular gift anytime. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah. And it was an inexpensive gift. So we were like, yes. I actually meant to have it delivered to your house. I clicked on the link to your house because I have sent stuff there before. For some reason it got delivered to my house though. So there you go.
Okay.
So
All right. Well,
let's see what you got.
is it going to be a box full of used rubber ducks?
No, not this
Okay.
time.
So it's already not the best gift.
No,
We'll see.
no, not at all.
Oh my gosh.
Now this is from Sylvia and I.
It is a Taylor Swift Little Golden Book.
For those listeners who don't know, Steven is a big Swiftie.
I love Taylor Swift.
He is gonna go see the movie, the Eras tour.
Oh my gosh.
He is very excited about Taylor Swift. He went on a rant about her not getting the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, I was actually quite upset. And by the way, it's not that she didn't get it. She turned it down.
Yeah.
And now we're getting Usher, who I also like, but is not Taylor Swift. Jerry, I appreciate this. You think it's a gag gift. It is not. I'm very excited to read this to my children after I read it to myself. It looks like it's got some biographical information in here about, how old she is.
Please
and-
show it to the camera, sir. I know this is
Yes.
a podcast mostly, but oh yeah.
Yeah, that's little Taylor there. Then we kind of, there's her growing up. She's starting off her career in Nashville. This is her as a country singer. She transitioned out of that a little bit. Oh, RCA. Man, this is really good. Now she's having fun with her friends.
Okay, we don't.
Now she's
Hey!
a beautiful young lady here at the end.
Hey.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. I tell Sylvia that I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I will let her watch this. All right, we're 3 minutes in and we've done no real football talk. So let's get to the news.
All right. Austin Corbett. He has been cleared for practice. He has been practicing. I'm sure those of you who are keeping up with the Panthers have seen the videos on Twitter of him taking some snaps against Shai Tuttle and several others. He has 21 days to be activated onto the roster. He said that he thought he needed a couple of weeks of his own training camp to kind of get ready. So I wouldn't expect him this week. And in fact, he may have already been ruled out. I'm not sure, but it would be shocking if he played this week. And remember, he's 9 months off of a torn ACL. That's
Yeah, that is difficult, but I will say that he may need those 2 weeks of training camp. The Panthers need him now.
True. Yeah. The Panthers do. They need him back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
He will improve the line pretty much immediately.
I mean, even if he comes back at like 3/4 of himself, he's an improvement over what's currently out there.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from him, honestly, other than an improvement over what we have, but I don't know if he's going to be where he was. Because, considered one of the better guards in the league. Like, he's not a superstar or anything, but we're really excited to get him back. So
Yes.
he'll be coming back soon. Other little piece of news here, and it's not news, but it's a rumor that basically the Panthers are rumored to be looking to try to trade for a top-tier starting wide receiver. Now, Jerry, what do you think about this?
I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid. Yeah. You don't have a first-round pick next year. What are you going to trade? The year after that first-round pick? If you're looking for a top-tier receiver, you're going to get that. And what is available? I'm seeing Marquise Brown. I'm seeing who else is T. Higgins. I don't see them as top tier wide receiver. I think they're good. I don't think
Higgins could be. I mean, he's been number 2 there his entire career, basically. So, given his own team, who knows? Like, and certainly not a guarantee. But, there are guys out there. The only way that I'd be okay with trading for a wide receiver right now would be if he's young, he has some time left on his deal, and he would... I mean, that's really it. Like, you don't go out and trade like your second round pick next year for T. Higgins, who's on the last year of his deal.
Or Marquise Brown.
Who's on the last year of his deal. Like, you trade a 5th round pick for those guys, and then you hope that you can re-sign them. Because if one of those guys comes here and we go 3-14, are they going to be excited about re-signing?
No.
And then are you just giving up a 5th round pick, a 4th round pick, a 3rd round pick, a 2nd round pick? Like,
and how
there has to be something.
And how much improvement does bringing one of those guys in really help this team right now?
I think it does help the team if it's someone who can actually get separation, but I don't think it turns us into a contender. And I'm sure that's what you were getting at.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't change the narrative of what the team is right now.
I mean, I guess my thought is Marquise Brown, even though he's having a good season, and T. Higgins, neither one of those moved the needle, in my opinion, of really becoming a different team. I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm hoping that DJ Shark could kind of step into that type of role. He was injured at the beginning of the season. He'll probably get injured in a couple weeks because that's his MO, but
he's been such a disappointment.
Yeah. Like, I'm hoping...
He's been a 1,000-yard receiver before. Like, I'm surprised, and he's not old. He's still pretty young.
He's 26, I think. So
I'm surprised that he hasn't been more effective. But again, the entire offense, other than Adam Thielen, has been pretty ineffective. So I don't know, man. Like, there's nothing that we can say that's going to change whether they do it or not. But I really hope they don't. Like, I hope they don't trade for a wide receiver.
I don't either. I mean,
we were begging for them to do something more in the off season or like the first or second week to bring in some firepower for this offense. But now that we're 0-4,
it's too late.
As much as I want the Panthers to not give Chicago the first or second pick or even a top 5 pick, I don't want us to compromise the rest of our picks.
Exactly.
That we do have. I mean, my main concern and what I think may happen is that Brian Burns is traded.
I don't want that to...
I don't want that to happen either, but I think we're going to get to the point to where Fitterer might be like, this is not a good team. We need to recoup some picks, and they're going to trade him for, 60 cents on the dollar as to what they could have gotten last year.
And if that's the case, Fitterer needs to be fired immediately.
I agree.
I
think he would be.
I think at this point he honestly needs to be. He's a super hot seat, anyways. I think what he has done is not good. Look at his drafts; they aren't good. You can blame Matt Rule for the first couple seasons, but now, I mean, this is all on him. DJ Johnson's barely sniffing the field. Your second round pick, who you were all excited about, is a healthy scratch last week. Who's supposed to be the wide receiver you really wanted. Chandler Zavala is a worst starting guard in the league right now. I mean, he's given up 28 pressures. The next person on that list that's given up pressures 14. I mean, that's a significant difference. I mean, Jamie Robinson, I mean, I've never really seen him out on the field. And
you look at the people that they passed on that were positions of need, right? And weren't like reaches or anything like that. I don't know, man. Because
signing Dante
Johnson
Jackson
was a reach. Signing Dante Jackson over Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
When the money was equal. And Gilmore wanted to be here, it sounded like. Like, he's from here. He wanted to be around here. Yeah, there have been some bad decisions made. And, Tepper has proven that he will be patient with coaches, with the front office. So I wouldn't expect anything to happen during the season. I don't think anything should happen during the season. Like, let him finish out the season.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to help us to fire him during the season. But I could see, week 16, 17. Let's get a start on the GM search. And it could end up being Dan Morgan.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind if it is him. But, I mean, Fitterer has worn out his welcome pretty quickly. Like, I like the draft. Well, not this past draft. I like Bryce Young and thought Mingo was all right, but
it was just, I mean, trading. I would have rather traded the 2025 first than traded DJ Moore.
Oh, me too.
I mean, because I think the team is different if DJ Moore's on it.
I'm hoping so, but I can't really tell.
Because there's not a caliber of DJ Moore wide receiver out there to be gotten for a third, fourth round pick. Like, so having him on the team, I think does move the needle, right? Having a guy like that.
And it's also rough trying to get a first round pick wide receiver that really pans out. I mean, yes, they're easier than other positions, but.
And if you don't believe that, go see what DJ Moore has done for Justin Fields last week and tonight.
Yeah.
Because he's changed the way that guy plays. All right. What's next here, Jerry?
The next thing we have a little segment. We just want to thank all our fans and listeners and followers. We received so many emails and YouTube messages last week just asking us not to stop because we were crying a little bit. Mentally and physically, like just exhausted after watching that game, talking about how, I mean, doing this for 4 or 5 years now?
This is our 4th season.
4 years and not having a winning season, constantly on the bottom of the team. I mean, we're right now probably the worst team in the league.
It's emotionally draining.
Yes.
It is, and we've heard this from many fans, right? That we are, and I say fans, like we don't have fans, we have listeners. Well, I've heard this from many listeners that they like our show because we are even, right? We don't like get too down and we don't get too high. We are rational, logical, right? Mm-hmm. And that's never going to make us the most popular podcast in the world, but that's just what we are. Like, we're not going to fake it. This last couple of weeks have been tough.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's been depressing. It kind of all crashes down on you. And we care way too much about this stuff. Like, honestly, like it's not okay how much we care about it. And we're not going to stop. Like, we're going to continue to do this as long as we can, as long as our wives let us. But
that's really the caveat.
Yeah. So we're going to be here, but sometimes it is tough. So, but yes, I agree, Jerry. Thank you, everybody out there, for the kind words and
the support.
We'll be around. We'll be around. All right.
Now let's get into some more depressing news. PFF grades for last week.
We're going to zoom through these really quickly.
Yes, I will start off on offense. Laviska Shenault led the team with his 13 snaps at an 81.3. Adam Thielen, of course, next, 73.5. Terrace Marshall Jr., 71.4. Want to give a hats off, 45 snaps there. And he played well. Good. He
Caught
proved
9
that,
of his 10 targets.
Yeah, I mean, he proved Jonathan Mingo's healthy scratch was the right choice for him to be in that position.
Yeah.
Icky bounced back, 70.4.
I don't see how.
I
don't see how.
It's because the guy next to him, everybody was like, hey, let's go towards that guy. He's like a turnstile. Chuba Hubbard next, 67.4. Calvin Throckmorton, 63.5. Dude, I'm giving you a round of applause. 2 weeks in of starting, I say you're the starter now. Like
at right guard, yeah.
At right guard, Austin Corbett comes back. I would see who can move to left guard between him and Corbett.
Yeah, if Corbett wants to go left guard, I'd let him. But we move Throckmorton to left. I think he'd probably be okay there too.
Yeah, Savala's the guy who needs to get out of that lineup. Okay. Now, bottom 5. Miles Sanders, 55.2, not surprising. Amir Smith-Marset on 5 snaps, don't care. Giovanni Ricci with 3 snaps, don't care. Hayden Hurst, 44.0. I mean, where are you at, man? Where are you at? And last and the least, bottom of the list every game he started, Chandler Zavala, 37.0, a 23.3 pass blocking grade.
An improvement over last week's 0.
I don't care who they bench him for right now. I don't care if they bring back Elfline and put him in the starting lineup. At this point,
like a superstar.
Zavala needs to be benched. I don't care he's a 3rd-round pick. I'm not writing him off permanently, but I'm saying he needs to sit and get better before he's starting again. Bryce Young can't handle getting nonstop pressure. He can't block on passing downs, and it's not good for the offense in general.
Zavala needs time. He needs a lot more seasoning, for sure. All right, let's run through the defense real quick here. Jeremy Chin, an 85, leads the pack. Troy Hill. Nice to see Troy Hill step in. He had 14 snaps, but they were good snaps. Sam Franklin.
I don't know why he's not up there more than 14. I'll just say that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, Sam Franklin stepped in really nicely. Had of course, that 99-yard touchdown interception. Amari Barno, 2 snaps. DJ Johnson, 6 snaps. Brian Burns leads the bottom 5 here with a 47.4. We kind of talked about it. Like he has a tendency to disappear at times. I mean, that was also a
not coming out of college.
No, but that was something that people said about Peppers when he was younger, was that he had a tendency to take plays off. I remember that distinctly.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying Brian Burns takes plays off, but again, if you want to be the $30 million guy, you got to get there often. LeRae Ray, 47, Nick Thurman, 44.9, Deshaun Williams, and Deshaun Jameson round out the bottom 5 there. So, I don't know, man.
I thought Jameson played better than what PFF rated him, but oh well. But I will say this: it looks like they need another defensive end in this 3-4 because besides Derek Brown, no one. I mean, the bottom 3, the guys who played opposite and for him, LeBray Ray, Nick Thurman, and Deshaun Williams, all bottom 5 there. So it's not good.
And we're talking the interior 3-4 guys, right? Not an edge.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yes, not an edge rusher, just like
right. Not that we couldn't use one of those too, but shout out to YGM. And by the way, I think that Evero is going to get a job solely based on how different Yetur looks this year than he has looked in the past, because he has turned Yetur into an actual asset.
He really has, and it's kind of impressive. Like Yetur looks so much better this year.
he does.
All right. Our next segment is actually going to be a new segment, hopefully going forward, called Fan Rant segment or Fan Reaction segment. And here it is.
We're workshopping it.
Yep.
Oh, wait, real quick, Jerry, before we put it on there. This one went longer than we anticipated.
Yes.
We got into a good conversation. They're not all going to be 30 minutes long, but we had fun. This is Matt. Enjoy.
So we have a new segment we're starting here called kind of fan reaction, fan, rants, as your email said here. Basically, we kind of want to hear from our listeners and everything. Matt here emailed us in last week or the week before, and he just was like, hey, can I please come out, call, and rant about these Panthers? As most Panther fans, and you and Steven and I do weekly, unfortunately, he has no one to vent to. So, real quickly, Matt, please introduce yourself a little bit.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. I am unfortunately Matt from right outside Fayetteville, North Carolina. Panthers fan, despite them not being a fan of me. Sad to say. I wrote in. I wrote into the fellas because I basically work with all chicks. None of them talk sports. And so, like, I just sit here and have to just pin this up. And you guys are my outlet to...
So, quick question. Without divulging, we don't need to know your personal history or anything. What do you do with that involves all females?
Okay, I work at a mental health place, and if you guys ever look at the statistics, it's like all chicks and me. I'm the outlier.
Yeah, I could get that. Unfortunately, where I work, it's mostly men and a few females, and I think Steven, you're in the same position.
Oh, there's pork.
Yeah, it's a
sausage
factory.
Yeah. I work with a lot of people who aren't Panthers fans, and they know I'm a big Panthers fan, so they'll try to cheer me up or something like that. I have someone I work with who's a big Eagles fan, so he's cutting backflips every week.
I've got the only chick there I can talk sports with is her husband's a Cowboys fan, so it's like not even talking to an actual fan.
That's not even fair. That's just that's worse than not being a fan, right?
So how long have you been a fan, and who is your favorite Panther of all time?
Okay, so basically I got in. I had been just a casual with my pops for basically ever, the Dell home years, the whole bag. I think when Cam got drafted, it had sort of shown a whole new light to the Panthers. Since before then, we were like Jacksonville Jaguar tier as far as just how the rest of the league viewed us. You know what I'm saying? And I think probably where I was all in, I'm good, was when I started seeing how awful Cam Newton was playing. And I was like, I've got to get invested in this because someone needs to know how upset I am. And so then, I got into Undisputed, and I got into, all the sports shows, and this became my new hobby, as it was.
Yeah, I mean, people, there are a lot of people that don't like Cam, right? There are a lot of people that don't like certain things about Cam, but you cannot negate what he did for the franchise. I mean, he put us on the map in a way that the Panthers have never been, right? Yeah. So say what you will about Cam, not you specifically, but just anybody out there. Say what you will about Cam, but man, we were so lucky to have a guy like that, just a superstar, right, on the franchise.
I just hate that the injury kind of derailed his career.
Yeah. Well, Matt, how you feeling?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the way it all ended too was just so heartbreaking because you're right. Yeah. He was the first. If there's him and Steve Smith. That we had Sam Mills, maybe if you want to call it that, but like he's the dude.
Yeah, those were the guys. Those were the guys that got the national attention. Those are the guys that led SportsCenter, and yeah, we got Brian Burns now, who will make a splash play every now and again, but not somebody I'd categorize as a superstar, at least not yet. So we hope Bryce Young gets there, but man. How you feeling? How you feeling about the team this year? What do you need to get off your chest, Matt?
All right, man. I got a list of grievances here.
Your grievances. All right.
As soon as I got the
Before we go on, we like to go no cursing and no personal attacks on players. That's for everyone listening. If you want to join our show and do a couple minutes in the future. That's our prerequisite.
Yeah, absolutely. Honest engine, boys. Honest engine.
There you go.
All right. So top. Speaking of marquees, the marquee issue. I want to paint a picture for you boys.
All right.
Would you guys rather have Bryce Young or possibly Caleb Williams, Jalen Carter, DJ Moore, possibly Brian Branch, and another second rounder?
Well, I think that's obvious to go with Caleb Williams and all that, but you're also
option B. Yeah, but that's I've seen that argument.
Uh-huh.
No guarantee that whoever the Bears would have traded that number 1 pick to, because they weren't going to stay there, right? No guarantee they don't trade up before us, fair. And they take Jalen Carter anyway, right? So, I mean, very well could have ended up with Will Levis at the 9th pick.
You got to think, too, David Tepper was desperate for a quarterback. So that would be my worry about that.
He's too desperate. He's too desperate, boys.
Yeah.
He's too desperate. We could have got Sam Howell. We drafted Matt Corral. He's not on the team anymore. Sam Howell went to UNC. He's right around the street.
Yeah.
And I know it's like, well, that's every team could have done that. But what are we doing here, folks? What are we doing here? See, that knocked out 2 in 1 round. I'm doing good.
Hey, yeah, but the Panthers have a massive problem drafting in the middle rounds. Like, this is not a new problem. This is something that we've seen many times, and I don't know, have they ever drafted a mid-round quarterback? Have they ever drafted a quarterback outside of Kerry Collins and Cam?
Tony Pike.
That worked.
Oh, no.
I know who. What's that? I've got.
He's got his Rodney Peete
he's
jersey.
got a Chris Winkie jersey. If he has a Chris
got a Chris Winkie jersey. I'm the only one. I'm the only one with the Chris Winkie jersey.
I mean, were
awesome.
you a Florida State fan when he got drafted?
No, that was one of those. I just happened upon it. It's like the thrift shop special, as all the Chris Winkie jerseys were, but I actually bought it.
Hey, to be fair, he
had
actually a pretty decent rookie season for starting as a mid-round draft pick.
Jerry, no.
No, dude,
Let's not defend Chris Winkie.
All right. We're gonna wrap this up, Matt.
Hold on. Let's give Matt a little more. He's got a whole list there. What else you got, Matt?
I was gonna ask him if he wanted to
thank you, my friends.
Knock through his list here.
Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to take up too much y'all stuff. Okay. Another big one. I'll just pick some of the big stuff. I know it's not his fault, but I'm so mad about J.C. Horn. I'm so mad, you guys. We got to pick the first defensive player on that board, and no one knew Micah Parsons was going to be Micah Parsons. Nobody said that. but like everyone said, "Sir, no, Jared, no, really." You knew he was the guy.
We didn't know that he was going to be
He-
what he is, but he was the number one player on our board for that draft. He was the guy that we wanted.
Oh,
And we've got the documentation.
The only reason why we dropped him down is because we needed a quarterback more, and we signed Denzel Perryman, who Matt Rule traded in the offseason for a back
and turned into be a Pro Bowler
that year. So yes, you could go back and look at our YouTube or our podcast, and yes,
we love Michael Parsons.
Because we were like, hey, we can draft this guy, and he could be the next Luke Kuechly since he just retired. That's what we said.
Yeah, it's dude. Can you imagine? Like, he would make it where like, so I know like it's swirling around about Brian Burns getting traded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, I don't know if that's on the docket. Sorry if I ruined it for you guys, but
no.
You wouldn't be able to if you had Mike on one side, Brian Burns on the other. It wouldn't matter. Bring Chris Winkie out of retirement and have him play. It wouldn't matter, dude. We'd be so dominant, man.
Yeah, it would be nasty. It would be nasty. But even and I'm sure you're going to get to this, but even if we didn't take Parsons, right? I mean, Surtain was right there. Who I like J.C. Horn's talent. Right, I like J.C. Horn's talent. And from when he's been healthy, I think he and Surtain are very comparable in talent. But Surtain stays on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And J.C. Horn doesn't.
Bingo.
So,
dude, he's the Anthony Davis of the NFL. Fantastic when he's there, but when is he there?
That is a good comparison. I like it.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. Okay. Let's see. Next up, we let Andy Dalton throw for 300 yards. Bryce Young has had like 3 passes over 10. What are we doing here, man? What are we doing here, man? Bryce is not the guy, boys. I'm sorry. I'm out. He's not it, man.
Can't blame anybody for feeling that way after what we've seen so far. I would just put the caveat on there to say Andy Dalton's been in the league for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young's been in the league for 4 weeks. Right?
They
are different players. The offense was different with Andy Dalton. Was that because Andy Dalton is that much better than Bryce Young, or was that because they had more confidence in Andy Dalton because he's a vet and they kind of let him loose? I'd like to see what Bryce Young could do if they let him loose.
I 100% agree with that, Steven. I hate that we agree, but yeah, I think this offense is a very quick offense with Bryce Young in there. If you look at the way they scheme it up, it is a quick read, and if nothing's out there, they want him to check it down to those screens or dump off to the wide receiver. Look at his passing chart. He's really not being allowed to really throw it deep. Whether that's
either that or he just doesn't have the confidence yet. Right?
Exactly.
He just doesn't have the confidence to test the defense, to go. He maybe doesn't have the confidence in his receivers. Andy Dalton has nothing to lose, right? Andy Dalton is what he is now. He is a guy that's going to go from team to team for the next 5-6 years, be a backup, and Bryce Young's trying to be a superstar. It's just a very different circumstance. I would just preach patience. Matt, like you were talking before we kind of started recording here, how some fans, including yourself, maybe have a tendency to get real up and real down real fast. I would just preach patience.
and here's the thing is, you're preaching patience, but the Panthers fans have been patient for 5 years, and now it's unfortunately falling on Bryce Young 4 weeks in. And that's
preach, Jerry. Preach.
I'm being honest. Like, look.
No, and like I said, I don't have any ill will, or everybody has the right to feel how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, guys,
Bryce
okay,
Young.
so I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the deal, and I was never one of those guys about he's too small. Not just him,
Mhm.
like any quarterback. I never was the it doesn't. If they can play, they can play. I Keyshawn Johnson sold me on Bryce Young's not the guy because anytime you would watch Cam Newton, like, and I know, I'm like, longing for an ex lover over here, but
Mhm.
like, it would take a bunch of 6'4" DNs to number one catch him and number two drag him down. Bryce Young, the Panthers Vikings game, there was a slight gust of wind and he was down, man. The fella,
No, I get
dude.
it.
He's like what he's. It's just
I get
I'm
it, and
I'm
it's a
trying,
legit thing.
boys.
It's a legit concern. It really is a legit concern. But again, I think it's just too soon. It's too soon to be out on a guy that has the intangibles that he does have. Now he does have obvious shortcomings, no pun intended, but
Yeah.
Pun intended.
I think he does have a lot of strengths that, given the right scheme, the right situation, the right receivers, a better offensive line. And again, you could say that about so many quarterbacks in the league, right? Well, if you had a great offensive line and
Mhm.
great receivers, probably 32 out of 32 would be good, or at least average. I just have to
Right.
hope that he's that he's the guy. Like, if I'm out on him already, then I mean, what the hell do I have to look forward to, right?
You don't hope with the number one pick. You
Well,
know,
But we
you did,
did hope.
especially when
I
Like,
well that's where we're sitting at. We're as fans. I mean, we have to sit there and hope for him to be good. And let's be honest. Before the draft, everyone said Bryce Young's, if he was 2-3
Mhm.
inches taller, he would be the no-brainer number one overall pick that the Panthers couldn't trade up to get. I mean,
yeah.
that's where they were sitting at.
Right.
So this offensive line has been given up so much pressure in the first 4 weeks. I think more pressure than ever allowed. If it went on this pace, would be by far the worst offensive line or passing wise of all time. So I mean, Chandler Zavala has given up 28 pressures by himself in 3 games. Like that's just you
It's gonna
can't.
get better. It's gonna
Yes,
get
I
better.
agree. I think it's going to get better, but I also think that he has been sitting behind the eight ball on this game. The offensive line has played pitiful on passing downs, and the zone blocking scheme has not been working on the run game, so he's not getting help that way either. Not
I watched a video earlier today by Ben Solak from The Ringer. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but
Mhm.
he basically did an entire video on Bryce Young and basically was like, is it time to panic with Bryce Young? And he made points that were pro Bryce Young. He made points that were anti Bryce Young, right? He showed some things that Bryce is doing that is not helping his cause.
mm-hmm.
And he showed some reasons why, that were kind of out of Bryce Young's control, right? I didn't come away from the video feeling any better about Bryce, but I did come away with a little more. I did come away with a little more knowledge as to some of the reasons why he is struggling in certain situations, right? So, again, we don't have a first round pick next year. Bryce is the guy for at least 2 years. So if you're already out on him, you're gonna have a rough 2 years.
That's the worst part, dude.
Yeah.
That's like the aching, that's the toothache in the back of my head, is like basically right, just like I said with the trade earlier. We're playing to make the Bears better, and it's infuriating, dude. It's because like it's just there's so much lacking there with him that is just it's to me it's unacceptable. For let someone else have that. But I know Tepper was so Dude, he's just been hungry for it, man. It was Sam Darnold for a little bit. I'm so shocked that we didn't have Darnold, Mayfield, and Rosen all in the house at the same time. Just hey, let's see what the 2018 draft has in store. And it's just, man, yeah, that's how it is. I basically like just sold out my stock for 2 to 5 years. I basically just sold out my stock for like, yeah, because it's longer than 2 years too, dude.
Yeah.
They're not going to give up on this cat. As much as they mortgage, it's not like the Trey Lance situation where like, hey, we'll just get rid of him and we'll still be in the Super Bowl this year.
No.
Ain't happening,
Yeah,
fella.
we're definitely not. We definitely don't have the team that they have, or the coaching staff, or the ownership, or the GM, or anybody. Matt, we've got 1 minute and 8 seconds left here on our free Zoom. Thanks for joining us, man. Like, it's been fun. I'll admit I was a little trepidatious. I was like, is this guy like, who is this guy? Like, what are we doing here? But I'm happy that you joined us. We will have you on again if you want to be on again. At some point.
I want to be I want to be the Joe Beningo of the Carolina Panthers, guys.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, man. And yeah, keep hope alive. We can only go up from here, right?
Oh no, it can get so much worse. Thank you very much, boys. It's been a thrill.
All right, thank you, Matt. We'll be right back with our game preview.
Enjoy.
And we are back. And again, thank you, Matt, for joining our podcast. Good conversation here. Anything you...
Yeah, I mean, that was fun. Anybody who would like to reach out and, have a conversation, again, we're looking to do something like 5 to 7 minutes, something like that. Kind of a shorter thing. Maybe we do an episode or something. Not every episode, but when we do them. That was fun though.
Yeah.
And Matt's a cool guy, and he really needed to get some stuff off his chest. So I don't know, fan rant, fan reaction, fan therapy, like whatever.
Oh, fan therapy! I like that because with Panther, we have that.
Yeah. So reach out, mailbag at MeowMixPodcast.com. DM us on Twitter. Reach out to us on Facebook.
Oh, Jerry's Bill, I am sorry. I forgot to read your email, man, or your message in Facebook. I read it, but I forgot to put it in our podcast.
We have a lot of emails and comments and things that we're probably not going to get to today, but keep them coming. And that was fun, so we'll do more of that.
All right, now looking forward, we are finally getting to the game here. Detroit Lions. Yeah, all right, here we go.
Go Detroit. That's what Jerry's like. Yeah, Detroit Lions.
Yeah, Detroit's really good, guys. But they were good last year, too. And we played them really well in the coldest game at Panther Stadium, where the Panthers gained a whopping 570 yards total offense, a franchise record. Steven, our trivia question involves rushing. How many rushing yards did the Panthers get last year?
It was over 200. 274 yards.
Incorrect, sir. It is going to be almost 50 yards more. 320 rushing yards the Panthers put on them. Our own, who's still on our team, Chuba Hubbard, had 12 rushes for 125 yards.
Yeah, and now that you say it, I remember it was over 300. But yeah, it's tell you what, man, we had an identity back then, Jerry.
Yes, we did.
We had an identity.
That was when Steve Wilkes kind of really took the reins and was like, "Hey guys, this is how we're gonna start beating teams. We're just gonna beat them to a pulp by the RO line." And
that was 20-0. Was that the score in that game?
Let me pull up. I don't think it was 20-0, but let me check.
I don't remember. That might have been the year before we beat them 20-0. I remember the 20-0 game for some reason.
Why can I
I'm
not
sure we
find the
scored.
score?
If we
I
had
got all
500
the stats, but I can't find the score. Okay.
That's all right.
37-23.
Okay. Yeah. We were feeling pretty good after that game.
Yeah, because they were on a
Hopefully-
hot streak.
Yeah. Hopefully we feel good after this one too, but we'll see. We got some injuries to talk about here, Jerry. Carolina Panthers, we'll start with them. Xavier Woods did not practice yesterday or today. Probably not going to play. I think the feeling is another couple weeks for him, at least. I'm going to skip the next one. Dante Jackson, limited practice. Frankie Louvu, limited practice. Ricci, limited. All the rest of these guys are limited practice. Ricci, Sanders, Deshaun Williams, Austin Corbett, Stephon Sullivan. Moving to the Detroit Lions, these guys did not practice. Brian Branch, Jason Kabinda, and Amon-Ra St. Brown with an abdomen.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, I like him. I think he's a good player, but I don't want him to play this week just because.
Yeah, I agree.
He's good.
I really like watching him play when he's not playing against us. These next guys are limited practice here. Taylor Decker, Kirby Joseph, Emmanuel Mosley, Julian Aquara, Josh Reynolds, another wide receiver. Not gonna
Say it. I want to see it.
Halapula Vatali, guard, limited practice. Frank Ragnow and Jamison Williams both listed as full practice participants. There's some legit players on that injury list for both teams, but especially for the Lions.
Yeah, that wide receiving core without St. Brown and then Jamison Williams is some reason on the list, but he's non-related. And Josh Reynolds is a good player.
Reynolds has been, he's got the potential to put up numbers. Yeah, if St. Brown doesn't play, that's interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
That puts a game in, I don't want to say territory, but it helps out the Panthers a lot.
Yeah, it definitely is. It would be a bonus. Betting odds for this one, the Panthers are 10.5 point underdogs right now, depending on where you look. Some places it's 10, some it's 10.5. Over-under's 44. You can bet the Panthers and plus 360. So bet 100, get 360 out of it if you're that crazy. But we'll talk about why you might not be that crazy.
All right. Keys to a Panther victory, as we like to go over every week. Real quickly, my first one, I think it's going to be obvious just over and over again. We're going to keep saying this. Protect Bryce Young, especially he's been hurried more than any other quarterback in the league. We've got to keep him upright, keep him clean, keep him able to view those throwing lanes. Because, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, but offensive line is, the Panthers are only going to go as far as their offensive line. And so far, their offensive line's been terrible. So definitely need to see some improvement there. Next key here, blitz. And not only blitz, but actually get to the quarterback. Let's get some sacks, baby.
Well, we'll not even get sacks, but get him under pressure. Jared Goff is not, like most quarterback, aren't very good when they're under pressure. He has a significant drop-off in ability when he gets pressured. This year, he has been better than he has before, but I pulled up last year's stats. I mean, look at PFF grades. When he has kept clean, 86.2. Under pressure, 41.2. When he's blitzed, it's 73.7. So that means when you get him under duress, you can get him rattled. And I think that's what we have to do. Because their run game is, not the greatest. So I think that's where you have to really knock them, especially with St. Brown hopefully not playing.
And if you don't particularly subscribe to PFF grades, just here's another number. When he's clean, he's got a completion percentage of 73%. When he's under pressure, it drops to 41%. That's a massive difference, right?
Yes.
Got to get to him. He's thrown 3 interceptions while clean, 4 interceptions under pressure. So, and it's in a quarter of the snaps, right? So get to him. He's going to make some mistakes. And that leads into our next key here, Jerry.
Win the turnover battle. The 2 games that were close for Detroit, the one game they lost and the other game against Kansas City, they turned the ball over. They lost the turnover battle. That's how you're going to beat them. You're not going to outgun them. This Carolina team is not set up for that. You're going to have to win with defense, turning the ball over, and the offense has to capitalize. Something this offense has not been able to do that well.
Yeah, I would add another key here. Score some points, like in the red zone.
Well, that feels like such a John Madden comment. Like,
I understand, but
they're trying to score more points than the opposing team there.
They don't, Jerry. They don't score points. The offense does not score points. Like, figure out what your red zone problem is, or even when the Panthers are on the right side of the field, like they just don't seem to be able to move the ball. Throw the ball into the end zone. How about that? Like, let's try that this week.
Be creative.
Even most of the time they're scoring touchdowns. Like, the ball's not thrown into the end zone.
Mm-mm.
Like, let Bryce try. Like, give him an opportunity. Give him some confidence. Tell him that, go out there and throw 4 interceptions. But push the ball down the field. Like, this is your rookie year. This is when you should make those mistakes. I want to see them do something.
I want some creativity.
I'm so bored of this offense. Yes.
Great. Like the first drive last week had a lot of creativity. They moved the ball down the field. They only got a field goal, but then after those first 10 plays, it just was back to like the same 3 plays over and over again. It was like, come on. What happened to that creativity that the first 10 plays have? I mean, Frank Reich, I know he's not giving up play calling, but he really needs to.
I think he will after the bye. So we got 2 weeks until the bye. I have a feeling, especially if the offense doesn't substantially improve, that Thomas Brown will be calling plays after the bye.
I mean, they're averaging 6 points on offense of scoring.
That feels high. Yeah, I mean, it's it's been ugly, but honestly, like, if Bryce Young threw for 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns, I really don't care if he throws a few interceptions.
I don't either.
This year.
Especially if they're like, hey, that was a great play by a defense, or hey, he misread that, or, okay, the safety baited him on that. He's going to learn from that.
Right. This is the thing is, like, he's still learning. He's learning these defenses. I talked about it with Matt, but Ben Solak with The Ringer did a video where he broke down a lot of Bryce Young's, his flaws and his positives. Check it out. Like, it's 15 minutes, but it does give you an idea of what he's kind of missing, what he will learn, and what he's been really good at. So it's worth a watch. All right. Beer bet of the week.
Beer bet of the week.
Jerry, the Miles Sanders has not been good so far.
No.
He has had some problems. Chuba Hubbard has looked better in pretty much every game, especially the ones where he's had opportunities. This week, I think Miles Sanders gets on the right track. I think this is the week we see Miles Sanders go off. I think Miles Sanders has more rushing yards than Chuba Hubbard this week.
And I disagree. I think this is the week that Frank Reich understands that Chuba Hubbard's a better running back at this point. He's making the better reads. He's making more missed tackles. I think he's going to get more snaps. And even if he doesn't I think he still will get more rushing yards than Miles Sanders. I think the biggest blunder this offseason, besides trading DJ Moore, was probably signing Sanders to that big contract.
All right. Well, we'll keep track of it. Jerry's been pretty dominant in the beer bets this week.
Oh, yeah, I have. Unfortunately, the only thing I'm winning, because fantasy I've been losing lately too. Come on, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, get healthy.
Yeah. All right. Time for some predictions. Jerry, do you have a bold prediction?
Yes, I do. I actually have
All right.
two.
Okay.
I am going to say
Start with one.
Bryce Young throws for over 300 yards. His first time ever. I also am going to say DJ Shark has a redemption game against Detroit Lions and has over 100 receiving yards.
Okay. I'm going wide receiver as well. I think Terrace Marshall Jr. builds on his game last week and ends up with 10 catches this week for 180 yards.
I would love it. Absolutely love it, because then that means him and Bryce are gaining momentum together, and he has the potential to be good.
He's got the skill set.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he just needs to put it together. I was encouraged by last week's game with him, so I'm excited to see where he can go. Game predictions. I'll go first. I think the Panthers actually do win this game. This is a weird game. The Panthers win, just when you think that they're out of it, they come and they give you a little bit of hope. I think that's what's going to happen this week. I say Panthers 24, Lions 23.
I have it Panthers as well, which is really weird because we didn't. We discussed right before this, but we already had our picks. Panthers 21, Detroit Lions 17, and it is in Detroit, so I'm probably wrong, but I just have this weird feeling that this is the type of game that this Panthers team will start getting together.
Well, we have to hope, right?
Yeah.
Let's hope. All right. NFC South games here really quickly. The Saints go to the Patriots, and the Texans go to the Falcons. That Texans-Falcons game might be interesting. Texans are kind of on a roll.
Yep.
So we're rooting for the Patriots. We're rooting for the Texans this week.
All right, less than a minute ago. Thank you for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@MeowMix Podcast. If you leave a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
Nicely done. We'll be back. We'll be back Sunday afternoon to talk about the game. And until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.